this side.
Please be seated. No. Robert and Meghan, today you get to marry your best friend. The one you laugh with and cry with. The one that you've learned from and shared with. The one that you've chosen to support, encourage, and give yourself to all the days of your life. Today you get to marry the very one that you love. And we're also joined here today by our loved ones who watch over us from above. Those we love don't go away. They walk beside us every day. Unseen and unheard, but still loved and still missed. And although we cannot see you, we know that you're here in spirit. We feel that warmth of your smile. And we know that you would be here today if heaven wasn't so far away. Rob and Meghan, you know that you don't have to have a ceremony to have a marriage. And when you think about it, this whole thing's a little bit weird, right? You're standing on stage, holding flowers, looking fancy, and being stared at by pretty much everybody who's ever really meant anything to you. So why do we bother to do this? The marriage ceremony has been an important feature across nearly every culture, religion, generation, and society. We have had thousands of very important moments in our lives. But we acknowledge this one as just being so critical. So we acknowledge its special status by wanting to share it with others. Because despite all of our differences, love is what each of us shares. It is that one great unifier, that one universal truth. No matter who we are, where we've come from, or what we believe, we know that one thing is what we're doing right, and that is love. We've all loved in our lifetimes, and it's that moment that we realize that that is the best part of humanity. We all have our own love stories. Some are short, some are long, some are yet unwritten, while others are just getting to those good parts. There are chapters in our stories that are sad or disappointing, and there are others that are full of excitement and adventure. And Robert and Meghan, this day not only signifies our shared values and commitment, but it tests to the fact that you have chosen a future together. And through the sacred vows of marriage, you're saying that the people that you want to become can best be achieved by marrying one another. And in faithfully keeping to your vows and in bringing to this marriage the very best that's within you, your life together will be filled with grace, peace, and joy. Marriage is ugly. Marriage is ugly. You get to see the absolute worst in someone. You get to see them when they are being sad and mad, and when they are just being so stubborn and unlovable that you just want to scream. Yep. You also get to see them when they're laughing so hard the tears are running down their face, and they can't help but make those weird gurgling noises. You see them at 3 a.m. in the morning when all the world is asleep except for the two of you, and you're eating pizza on the middle of your kitchen floor. You see the side of them that nobody else does, and that is not always pretty. It's that snorting when you laugh. It's tears when everything feels like it's crashing down. It's farting and bad breath. It's random dances and anger and joy. Marriage is not a beautiful thing, but it can be quite amazing. It's knowing that somebody loves you unconditionally and will never leave you. It's fighting over some stupid things, that somebody doesn't do the dishes or pick up their own laundry. You. And it's nights when you fall asleep in each other's arms, feeling like there's never going to be enough time for the two of you. It's cleaning up their throw up or just rubbing their back when they're sick. It's the dirtiest, hardest, yet most rewarding job that there can be. Because at the end of the day, you get to crawl into bed with your best friend. The weirdest, most annoying, goofy, perfect person that you know. And marriage is not always pretty, but it can be the most beautiful thing in this world. It's amazing to think that Meghan and Rob, we've gone from prom dress to wedding dress. And when Rob was a student at Ward Melville High School, he remembers thinking everyone just seems kind of the same. You gotta be kidding, right? It's a long way.
We have a problem too.
Lower the volume!
So everyone seemed kind of the same, except for this one girl, Meghan. She stood out. She was funny, she was easy to talk to. And Meghan admits that Rob was quite charming back then, and he paid attention to her feelings. And eventually these two became high school sweethearts. Knowing that there was something very special between them, Rob and Meghan worked to maintain a long-distance relationship while Rob was in Pennsylvania for trade school. And at first they'd write letters and wait for the mailman like generations before them. Although this was romantic, though, they realized that it was a lot easier to just send a text message and receive one back within 2 seconds. Over the years, Meghan and Rob have supported each other's growth and endeavors. Whether it's Meghan taking in and raising an abandoned kitten that she's found on the side of the road, or Rob purchasing a guitar on their trip to Niagara Falls. They celebrated graduations, getting jobs, and they've made some wonderful memories at Disney World, North Carolina, and Atlantic City. And they've been in each other's rock through the toughest of times. And through it all, Rob has been so thankful to have someone here who truly cares about him. And he acknowledged that Meghan gets even funnier as she gets older. And in turn, Meghan admires all of Rob's talents, especially his musical abilities. He's smart, and he's funny, and he lets her play The Sims without interruption. At the heart of their relationship, these two are best friends. And because of this, they do things for each other, not out of obligation, but simply because they love just spending time with one another. And in these last few months, that friendship has really become more important than ever. As we've all experienced, so many of the places and things that we've relied on are no longer available. So simply just being able to enjoy each other's company, having some great conversations, sharing inside jokes, have become an art form, one which Rob and Meghan have mastered. And it doesn't matter if they're quarantined for 2 weeks or a lifetime together. They've chosen to take each other for better, for worse, but never for granted. That's why on one of their anniversary celebrations, Rob presented Meghan with a mug with a bit emoji on it and a pillow asking, "Will you marry me?" And of course, Meghan said yes, because they are each other's everything. Meghan and Rob, may your life together be filled with health and happiness and wonderful memories. Continue to grow together and enjoy every minute, as life is short. And may you always remember how lucky you are to have fallen in love with your best friend. So Robert, do you give your promise that from this day forward, Meghan shall never walk alone? that your heart will be her shelter and your arm will be her home. Do you promise to walk together through life as partners and best friends, and that you shall always do your best to love and accept her exactly the way that she is? And you give her freedom and your trust, and you give your heart until the end of time?
I do.
And Meghan, do you give your promise that from this day forward, Rob shall never walk alone? That your heart will be his shelter and your arms will be his home? Do you promise to walk together through life as partners and best friends, and that you shall always do your best to love and accept him exactly the way that he is? And do you give him freedom and your trust and your heart until the end of time? Rob, please repeat after me. I, Rob, take you, Meghan, to be my wife. I promise to be true to you in good times and in bad, in sickness and in health. I will love and honor you all the days of my life. I, Meghan, take you, Rob, to be my husband. I promise to be true to you in good times and in bad, in sickness and in health. I will love and honor you all the days of my life. This is the point in the ceremony where we usually talk about the wedding bands being a perfect circle with no beginning and no end. But actually, these rings do have a beginning. Rock has been dug up from the earth. Metal was liquefied in a furnace, cooled, and then painstakingly polished. Something beautiful was made out of raw elements. And love is like that. It comes from humble beginnings made by imperfect beings. And it's that process of making something beautiful where there was once absolutely nothing at all. And now allow for these rings to be a promise to always accept each other's imperfections and to recognize one another's beauties. I give you this ring as a symbol of my love, my faith and our strength together, and my willingness to learn and grow with you.
I think it's this one.
I give you this ring as a symbol of my love, my faith and our strength together. My faith and our strength together. My willingness to learn and grow with you. As you continue your journey together, I ask you to remember this advice. The key to love is understanding, as it is those little things that say so much by themselves. The key to love is forgiving, to accept each other's faults and pardon mistakes. The key to love is sharing your good fortune as well as your bad together. The key to love is giving without the thought of return, but with the hope of just a simple smile, and by giving in and never giving up. And with this promise and declaration of love, it is my pleasure in accordance with the laws of New York and by the virtue of authority vested in me by the state of New York, to now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the couple and blow your bubbles for them.